Welcome, everybody. I'm going to start off today. There's this tremendous, you get a lot of the right of center websites out there that just love. I mean, they just love the number one story they put on there. Most important thing out there is the latest Biden gaffe. That's easy, man. I mean, guys, that's low hanging fruit. All right. Again, it's like an NBA player going out and playing high school basketball. What I mean, what's the point behind this? What are you getting across? Everybody knows. Everybody knows. Sky is blue, water is wet. Biden's going to say something. Screw you. Everybody understands his capacity at this point in time. You look at these stories, and I yawn. What was it yesterday? He indicated that he has cancer. He was at a shuttered coal plant in Massachusetts, vowing that one day it'd be the site of clean energy programs fueled by windmills off the East Coast. Last time I checked, those windmills off of Massachusetts, Nantucket, were rejected by the Kennedys and the Kerrys of the world because it messed around with their yachting. Yes. By the way, anybody likes some of the stations on satellite radio and listen to music, the yacht rock. But anyway, during his remarks about the dangers of pollution, he recalled how he grew up in Claymont, Delaware, not far from a host of oil refineries across the state line in Pennsylvania. He recalled how after the first frost, residents of Claymont had to turn on the windshield wipers to get the oil slick off the windshields of their cars because of the pollution. Again, my grandfather was telling me, back when he was younger, this sometimes it would snow dirty. It would be like a dark snow that would come down. He lived up in Schenectady, New York at the time. But anyway, so that's why I and so many other people I grew up with have cancer, and why for the longest time Delaware had the highest cancer rate in the nation. That's why I grew up with listen, Biden, again, his son died of cancer. He had melanoma. I don't think not too long ago. It was non-melanoma skin cancers removed. No, he doesn't have cancer, but everybody was going nuts over this yesterday. Yeah, the story is going to be when he doesn't make a gaffe when he's speaking. I'm just here to tell conservatives out there, and I wish all you rah-rah types out there would take a couple steps back and think what is actually going to help the country. If going after Biden gaffes, you think that that's the way to long-term success for this nation, I'm sorry, I disagree wholeheartedly. We can agree to disagree. Again, I don't even go to many of these sites anymore because they've become a joke. I mean, some of them are so off the charts pro a certain candidate, and you know who I'm talking about already. I mean, it's amazing to me. I mean, how do you treat individuals like they can do no wrong? It's beyond the pale. It's not what you're supposed to do. These people work for us. We don't work for them. We need to hold them accountable. Now, again, we knew about Joe Biden when he refused to come out of the basement. Okay, this should be no surprise. What we need to be working on is policy measures. What we need to do to get inflation down. All of these things. You want to get an MVP award? They do MVPs for sports, right? Most valuable player. The MVP award for Republicans right now, I'm talking in Washington. I'm not talking in state governments, whether it be DeSantis down in Florida, for example. It'd have to go to Joe Manchin. It would have to go to Joe Manchin. He's the MVP. He is. So far. What else? You got anything else coming from Republicans? Yeah, it was amazing yesterday. I'm going to get off the beaten track. We'll get back to what we're talking about. I want to talk a little bit more about climate and some of these things that are going on. And Biden's latest thing on he didn't declare a climate emergency. He said it was an emergency. But anyway, yesterday, Senator Rand Paul basically he came out. The Senate rejected Rand Paul's attempt to reaffirm the Constitution. And full disclosure here, Rand Paul was my candidate last time around. I again, they decided on somebody else. Wait, remember with Trump, it came down to Trump and Ted Cruz. And that was an infantile battle where we're going to do name calling back and forth. Yeah, that really elevated the discourse. But anyway, Rand Paul does. He does. He talks about the Constitution. Senate Foreign Relations Committee backed the ascension of Finland and Sweden to NATO. This is ahead of a full vote in the Senate. Again, what did Rand Paul want? What was his amendment? He would emphasize that only the United States Congress has the right to declare war under the Constitution. That was rejected by the committee. You see, these people, these globalists out there, and it's Republicans too. They have no problem whatsoever taking our nation's sovereignty and handing it off to NATO, the United Nations, for crying out loud. Flipping Patriot Act, going back to George W. Bush, sending troops all over the globe. Congress is supposed to declare war. They're the ones that are supposed to do it. Nah, they don't want to be bothered with that. They don't want the responsibility. That's the funny thing. They don't even want the responsibility. It's pathetic, is what it is. Anyway, Biden's new climate change programs. Yeah, $2.3 billion in funding for a program that helps communities prepare for disasters by expanding flood control and retrofitting buildings, as well as leveraging funding to help low-cost families cover heating and cooling costs. So there's basically going to be handouts and giveaways to people that want to pay for their gas and electric. Who's getting these monies to communities, flood control? I don't know. Are they going to work on the levees again down on Lake Pontchartrain? I don't know. So we got disaster relief here and then handouts and giveaways. He's directing the Department of the Interior to propose new offshore wind areas in the Gulf of Mexico. Plan that could power more than 3 million homes and advance the transition to clean energy. Again, I understand you want to do this. You show me that it's going to work. You show me your work. Actually, show me your work. How many people remember back in middle school and high school and college math class, you had to show your work. You had to show your work. How are you getting from point A to point B? Again, I'm watching my son right now, and I don't get it. He's doing Calc 2. And all of the work that he has to show to basically say, hey, this is how we're going to get here. You show me that these windmills that you're going to put out there, and again, I don't think it should be too damaging. I spent time in the Gulf of Mexico. As long as they're far enough off, you don't tend to get birds flying that low. We got to take a look at that. Not to mention, some of the infrastructure that you're going to build actually helps with fish and getting structure under the ground. If it works, if it makes sense, fine. But the wind doesn't always blow. You know that, right? There'll be days when I'm out in the Gulf of Mexico. And again, when I'm out there, I haven't been out fishing in years. It's kind of sad. It's like glass. I mean, there's nothing. It's flat as, it's beautiful. It's almost eerie to some degree. The entire Gulf of Mexico is like glass. The wind is not blowing. And my experience, I've gone to places that are a hell of a lot windier than the Gulf of Mexico, in the Mediterranean. Times I've been to some of these Cycladic Greek islands there, and they have windmills on mountain peaks. And quite frankly, they look like eyesores in certain places. They really do. Don't put them there. They look like hell. But anyway, neither here nor there. They're not turning. I remember driving, this is 2012, and I can remember the year. Driving from San Francisco out to Yosemite, and driving through California, and windmills as far as the eye could see, and most of them not turning. A lot of them just broken. Show me where. Show me how much it's going to cost, how much it's going to cost to do all of this. If it makes sense, it's efficient. But if it's something that constantly needs to be subsidized, you need to look elsewhere. You need things that are self-sufficient, that make sense. Yeah, let's talk a little bit about this. And I've had this discussion before. Let's all pretend. Let's all pretend that somebody comes out and some scientific formula and proves that man-made global warming is really a thing, and we're going to have issues moving forward. Again, we're in a heat wave right now. We are in a heat wave right now. So it's a grand time for everybody that's pushing this agenda. Look, see, it's hot outside. Yeah, we've had heat waves before. Okay? All you youngsters out there, there's been stretches of time where it's gotten hot like this throughout my entire life. Happens. A stretch of time where it's cold. Not this past year, before Memorial Day weekend, I'm wearing a winter coat at my daughter's lacrosse game. Okay? Freezing. It happens. It's weather. But anyway, let's just, for shits and giggles, shall we say, let's pretend that, okay, we're going to be all in. We're going to do the renewables. We're going to head in this direction. You have to show your work. How are we going to get from point A to point B? You got Pete Buttigieg, that useless guy in charge of the transportation secretary. I don't know if you saw on CNBC, Becky Quick basically ripped into him yesterday. You want electric cars. He's pushing for everybody to get electric cars, and he's thrilled that these electric cars are, going to be more viable because energy prices are going up. Where are we going to get all the materials? I mean, we constantly put the cart before the horse. You have all of these pie in the sky, utopian ideas, and that's all well and good. It's great to be a dreamer, okay? It's great to have an imagination, but eventually you have to put pen to paper and show how we're going to get there. You want to order a Tesla right now? You're not getting it from 6 to 8 months. And you can say supply chain. It's not just what's happening right now in China in factories. It's the actual materials. It is the actual materials. There was a story, it was like a week or so ago. One of the things was some guy, his electric car battery died, and he needed to buy a new battery. And the cost of the new battery was more than the car was worth. I think it was $14,000 for the battery, and I think the car was worth $11,000. That's a problem. That's a problem. And again, I'd buy an electric car if it made sense. If it made sense. In the same way that I would put solar panels on my house, as long as they're not an eyesore. I was kind of hoping that Tesla would follow through with those panels that don't look like panels. But anyway, if it made sense. Yeah, side story. This is back, American Recovery and Reinvestment Act. Obama's president. Joe Biden's looking over the American Recovery and Reinvestment Act. And constantly getting cold called by these solar companies. And they had already done their homework. So I lived in Florida. They did a Google Earth thing of my house. And, I said, well, you put these solar panels on your house and blah, blah, blah. I said, let's cut to the chase here. How much will this save me? They, asked me how much my electric bill was. How much is this going to save me a month approximately? I think they were like $150, something like that. $150. And again, Florida, your electric bill's high. You got air conditioning running over the course of the year. Barely made a dent. But again, you can do the numbers here. How much were the solar panels going to cost me? Over $30,000. And I'm talking to him, I say, you kidding me? Are you kidding me? I'm going to spend over $30,000 to save $150 a month? Not to mention, these things have a shelf life. I'm eventually going to have to throw them out. He's like, no. Wait. State of Florida is given a grant. I remember Charlie Crist was governor at the time. State of Florida is given a grant to help you pay for things. And then you can get a tax break from the government. And that will bring your costs down to, I don't know, $20,000. I don't remember the exact number. I said, even at that, that's not worth it. Not to mention the fact that, this is stupid. It doesn't make sense. The math doesn't add up. I'm all for everything you want to do, but how do you go about getting there? It's all pie in the sky, utopian stuff. Put your mind to it and stop chasing these technologies that you've been pushing since the 1970s, for crying out loud, that really don't seem to cut the mustard. Yeah, not to mention, there was a story this past week in California, how they mandate, I guess, new houses, you have to have solar panels. And some of the material in these solar panels are toxic, got heavy metals. They're trying to figure out how to go about disposing of these things because they have a shelf life. They have a shelf life, and they're going into landfills. And the heavy metals in them are toxic. They get into the groundwater. This is, again, these are things that you have to think about. You have to consider, okay, we're doing this. What are the, what's going to happen to dispose of? What are the unintended consequences of our actions? We've got to see this through. The fact that, again, we need to mine more. It was Janet Yellen the other day talking about how the United States needs to be self-sufficient when it comes to rare earth materials and minerals. Well, no shit, Janet. Okay, that's a nice statement, nice platitude. How do you plan on making that happen? Well, you think it's gonna happen overnight? You're gonna start, gonna get approval for mines. As soon as anybody files a permit for a mine here in the United States, you're gonna get 50 groups filing a lawsuit to stop it. That's the reality. You know it, and I know it. Okay, how are you planning on getting there? You can say these things, and that's all wonderful and great, but that's akin to somebody feeling good about themselves, because they wore an AIDS ribbon. Yeah, you're down for the struggle. You really did somewhere. You hit a like button on Facebook. You're not solving the problem. You're just talking about it. Anyway, this was an actual op-ed. An actual op-ed on Bloomberg. And the op-ed was basically saying that what Biden needs to do right now is he has to stop the fall in gasoline prices. Stop them. And they're suggesting putting a floor, not allowing gasoline prices to go below $5. This guy is saying, it was Eduardo Porter. He says this is a bold move that we need to do to push this agenda. It's what we have to have done. This is nothing new. They've been telling you this for a while. Again, going all the way back to Stephen Chu, Obama's energy secretary, who said, yeah, we want our gasoline prices to be high like they are in Europe. This in order to push their agenda. Am I wrong? It's what they want. This is what they've always wanted. And this shouldn't surprise people. And when you get guys coming out like Jared Bernstein talking about, wow, look at gasoline prices have come down. We're working hard here in the administration to make them come down. They don't want to, they want them to come down a little bit, but you do understand that this is a slow boil. Okay. They're slowly but surely cooking us. They're getting people used to the fact that these prices got to go, oh, we got to make it come down a little bit now. But in their heart of hearts, they want it above $5 a gallon. And they've had for a long period of time. So anytime you see somebody in the administration talking about, oh, Brian's doing, we're getting it. We're doing everything. We got these gas prices down. And it's kind of funny. Becky Quick, put it to Mayor Pete and saying, you guys are taking a victory lap because gasoline prices have come down a little bit. But when the prices went up, it was somebody else's fault. Explain to me that. Anyway, moving on. Spent a lot of time on climate, logic, and reason already. Here's more logic and reason. Starbucks CEO blames leaders for abdicating responsibility to fight crime, causing store closures. They're actually shutting down 16 profitable Starbucks nationwide. And he's blaming the woke leaders for abdicating their responsibility to fight crime. Gee, you don't say. You don't say. Mind you, again, Starbucks, any of the workers at any of those stores, they're being moved to other locations. Hey, you got to take it into consideration. I mean, you're the CEO of a company. If it's an unsafe store, shut it down. Shut it down. I mean, I get it. Again, the old Sam Kinison. You got to move to where the food is. You got to move to where, it's safe. And you can, run a business and not have to worry about, these problems of people coming in, destroying your store, all of these things. I mean, people, I don't know what to tell you. Okay? I don't know what to tell you, but you voted for this. I mean, I didn't vote for these. I hear you. Okay. But again, you got to take a look at the choices that you have made at the ballot box over the years, and people that claim to be conservative and Republicans backing, down, not doing what they say they're going to do. All of these things, got to choose a hell of a lot more wisely moving forward. Again, I mentioned this, talked about this yesterday, and magically, all of a sudden, I don't know, Jim Cramer lately has found religion, or I don't know if he's listening to my show here. Basic Echo. He yesterday on his program, I had this sent to me, one of our listeners. I don't watch his Mad Money program. I see him over the course of the day on CNBC from time to time, actually saying exactly what we've been saying. I said, you got to look to invest in companies that are cutting back on staff, profitable companies, high quality companies that are cutting back on staff. They're smart. It's spring cleaning. Recessions is spring cleaning time for high quality companies. The story today, Microsoft is slowing some of the hiring in certain departments. The stock is down 1% pre-market. Why? Because they're smart. Again, it won't be down 1% forever. Okay. They are making the necessary adjustments that smart businesses do. That's the reality. All right, we got to get into this. I got to talk. Again, I'm batting this back and forth. And his editorial piece, Wall Street Journal, talked about this yesterday a little bit. Are Republican senators conniving spendthrifts or babes in the Beltway? We lean toward the former after watching a $76 billion semiconductor subsidy bill morph within minutes into a $250 billion bipartisan spend-o-rama. The Senate voted 64-34 to begin debate on its CHIPS bill, a corporate welfare vehicle providing $52 billion in grants, $24 billion in tax credits to the already profitable semiconductor industry. But it turns out that the bill was merely the bad news. The really bad news is that Chuck Schumer quickly filled a 1,054-page bipartisan amendment to pour more than twice that amount into federal agencies. Oh, yeah. Yeah, National Science Foundation's getting $81 billion over 5 years, doubling its budget. $20 billion of this is going for a new Directorate for Technology, Innovation, and Partnerships, with the rest earmarked for vague promises to grow basic research and build the STEM workforce and create broad-based research opportunities. Now, when politicians say partnerships, they mean big government collaborating with big business. Commerce Department, $11 billion, which it intends to plow into creating 20 new regional technology hubs, which will expand U.S. innovation capacity. This is, you do know this is all horse shit, right? This is all pork. This is going to create more jobs for elites, for no-show jobs, essentially. People that really don't do much. Think Paulie, the late, he just died last night. Anyway, from Sopranos, sitting out at the work site in Jersey, sunning himself with the mirror. They're all getting paid, hanging out, eating sandwiches, no-show jobs. Well, you think you're going to get innovation? We don't have enough innovation here in this country in the private sector? Really? You think the government's going to do a better job of this? Do you? I mean, again, Republicans signed off on this, okay? They signed off on this, and mark my words, these same Republicans will push this crap through. Because when push comes to shove, they're really not that different. And that's, quite frankly, something many people fail to understand. I get a little nauseous sometimes. They get friends with people involved in Republican politics and whatnot. And, they're always coming around asking me for money. And I try to remind them, again, I'm not a member of the Republican Party. Okay. Why would I be? They break every freaking promise. They lie to you all the time. It's like, why would I be a member of that? And they're showing their rallies that they're having at dinner. Wow, look at all the people, all this stuff. And I'm what are you doing? I mean, I get it. You want to have for an individual candidate that's actually doing their job. But to give to the Republican Party, why would you do that? Why would you do that? Because, again, they won't force out. They're not going to go ahead and force out people that are already in, even though they're, crappy at their job. They would never do that. It's all about incumbent protection. Because, again, the longer you stay in the game, the more powerful you become as you go up the ladder. The easier it is for you to fundraise, the more connected you become. And that's the system we have. And again, it's just why, Republicans, we care about inflation. We care about inflation and all this money printing and all this spending. Horseshit. No, you don't. No, you don't. Okay? You're the same. Okay? All the same thing. Anyway, quickly on this story. They want to cancel. This is the head coach, University of Michigan. Jim Harbaugh is he's a practicing Catholic, and he doesn't believe in abortion. He gave his pro-life views, and the way he said it was kind of nice. He says, I love life. I believe in having a loving care and respect for life and death. My faith and my science are what drives these beliefs in me. And he quoted Jeremiah. Before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. Before you were born, I set you apart. I appointed you as a prophet to the nations. And again, he went on, he said, God planned each unborn human truly has a future filled with potential, talent, dreams, and love. I have living proof in my family, my children, and the many thousands that I've coached that the unborn are amazing gifts from God to make this world a better place. To me, the right choice is to have the courage to let the unborn be born. Now, again, is that an awful thing that he said? To me, it's kind of beautiful. Now, you might disagree with that. You might disagree. You might have a different viewpoint. Okay. But the vitriol, the people coming out, trying to get him fired. He's a public employee. Do these people have any idea that it is a free country? You can have an opinion on something. And many people feel the same way he does. Why are you trying to cancel somebody, get somebody fired simply because they have different views than you on certain things? I never really seem to understand that. You might want to say, hey, you know what? This is my point, and engage in some sort of Socratic debate. But, again, that's just me. Anyway, have a great day, everybody. Watchdog on wallstreet.com. Watchdog on wallstreet.com. We'll see you.